Hi folks, we're going to take a look at question 9 from page 466. Okay, so what we have is we have a propane tank that's in the shape of a cylinder with two hemispheres, so half spheres on either end. Okay, and they tell us that the hemispheres, both of these have a radius of 2. So if that's a radius of 2, this is also a radius of 2. Okay, and that the total length is 10.2 meters. Okay, so the whole thing. And what they want us to do is they want us to find the volume of the tank. Okay, so what we're going to do, like we do with two-dimensional figures, when we have solids that are made up of different shapes, is we split them up into shapes where we know the formulas. In this case here, we have a cylinder, so we know how to find the volume of a cylinder. Okay, and we have two hemispheres, but they have the same radius. So if we bring these two hemispheres together, we're really just going to end up with one sphere. Okay? So you could calculate this as the volumes of two hemispheres, but again, since you put them together, you get one sphere. Okay, so this one here, pretty easy to do because we know what the radius is, and that's all we need to determine the volume. Okay, so the radius here is equal to 2. Now, for the cylinder, well, the cylinder is going to have the same radius as the sphere. So we know that the radius of this cylinder is going to be equal to 2. The one thing we have to determine, though, is the height, which we're going to need to find the volume. Okay, so remember here, the total length is 10.2 meters. Okay, but what I'm going to do here is I'm not including this hemisphere on this side, which has a length of 2. And I'm not including that hemisphere on the left, which also has a radius of 2. So what I'm looking for is just this portion, the height of the cylinder. So it's going to be 10.2 minus 2 from the left, minus 2 from the right. So 10.2 minus 4 is equal to 6.2. Okay, so now that I have all the dimensions that I need, I can find the total volume. Okay, so my total volume is going to be equal to the volume of the cylinder plus the volume of the sphere. Okay, and now you can check your formula sheet. So the volume of the cylinder is just pi times the radius squared. So in this case here, the radius is 2 squared times the height, which is 6.2. Okay, and then the volume of the sphere is given by 4 times pi, okay, times the radius cubed. So 2 cubed divided by 3. Oh, sorry, that should be a plus sign there. Okay, so now let's put this into our calculator. So since this is an application question, it's okay to give me an answer which is an approximation. Okay, so here I've got a pi button on my calculator, so I'm going to do pi times 2 squared, which is 4 times 6.2. Okay, and that's 77.91. Now you'll notice I'm not doing it all together because this is going to get a little complicated on my calculator, so I will do it in 2 stages. Okay, and now we'll do 4 times pi times 2 cubed, okay, which is just 8. Okay, and then divide that by 3, which gives me 33.51. And now let me add that to 77.91, and that gives me 111.42. Okay, but of course I need to make sure I check my units, and my units were all in meters. So my final answer will be, since it's volume, meters cubed. So the total volume here was 111.42 meters cubed. So just to recap, to recognize that this shape here is made up of a cylinder and these two hemispheres, which I brought together to create one sphere, and then I just needed to make sure that I found all the proper dimensions. And the one where I had to do a bit of work was for the height of this cylinder. Okay, that's it for this one.